November 5th, 1953. Two boys, one a 12-year-old boy and his friend Alan, were playing a game of Cowboys and Indians in Littlewoods, Liverpool. As the day grew late and the sun began to set, they elected to make a small campfire. It was, after all, bonfire night, celebrated throughout the country. On this night, however, for these two children, something unexplained was about to happen, as, in the soft glow of their light, they could make out the outline of an approaching figure. It revealed the figure to be 4 feet tall, and very covered with long gray and tabby calico, spotted color fur. This was a feline, although it didn't seem like any domestic cat they knew. It almost moved as if it understood who and what they were, as if it possessed a higher level of intelligence, almost making human mannerisms towards them, before uttering, and quite unabruptly, hello and greetings. This startled the boys, and they ran off, leaving the fire unattended, towards their home. They told their parents everything that they'd seen, but their parents didn't believe them. So, curious and eager to find out what had happened the previous night, they elected to return the following day. When they'd set their fire up, and the coals were already beginning to smolder, they decided to shoot flaming arrows into the sky, something they often did to pass the time. They were wondering if this strange feline form would show up again. Right as Alan was about to say something, the figure appeared again before them, moving into the soft firelight. It spoke again, with a female voice, saying to the boys that if they remained in Littlewoods, they would be potentially in great danger, and could even die, as there was a vagrant pedophile roaming the area who sought intently to kill them. After telling their parents once more, they were once again shrugged off. But this did encourage a little digging on the part of Alan's mother, who discovered a local pedophile who had been removed from his home previously. One young lady by the age of 6, one evening as her mom was preparing food, noticed that her pet feline cat, Shadow, was acting quite irate and agitated at the window on the screen door. Upon further inspection, she looked outside. She could see, right at the edge of the forest that lies in their backyard, at the tree line, a little parting in the underbrush. And, almost on cue, a line of black cats came out in single file and sat around in a circle in her backyard. Wondering what was happening, the young girl sat and watched as a larger, older male cat, by the looks of him, appeared to climb up onto a tree stump amidst the other cats. They were all black and had shiny, slender fur and glowing eyes, but they never seemed to look at the young girl. As time progressed, it seemed like there was some commotion amongst the foliage. The cats didn't perk up or move at all, almost in a trance. They all looked up at their supposed leader, and as the girl opened the back patio door, she grabbed some ham from the fridge and offered it to them. They didn't even turn to address her. They stood there for another several minutes as she threw ham down on the ground for them, but after a while, she grew tired. She yelled at the lead cat to react to her in some way, and upon this, the cat mannerism gestured towards her with the simple, subtle glare. He only seemed to barely acknowledge or regard her, and only slightly glanced up before all of the cats retreated back into the foliage. Later, she had discovered, upon further examination of these events, that her mother had also been present and witnessed this, as she had disrupted her from her work as the young girl went in. She was surprised when her mother mentioned the incident later in life. She had always assumed that, were she to tell her mother, she would think this was only some flight of fantasy for the 6-year-old. But her mother, regarding these events later on, described how she was terrified, and she rushed her daughter off to bed after this. The feeling of unease only followed the events, as in the moment, she was hopeful that the kittens would get their food and eat the ham. Lydia was driving home on one night after her shift at work. She worked at a local Denny's, and it was around midnight. As she turned the bend onto her street, in the light a little further down the road, close to her house, but in the street something small and black was sitting. Without time to react, only moments later registering that this was a cat, she was about to swerve, but then the car shut off and inconspicuously rolled to a stop. right before the cat, mere inches from it. As the slender feline stood sitting there, it didn't seem to notice the events at all, nor did it feel shaken or visibly portray such. The streetlight flickered instantly as the car died, and it went out. Suddenly, there was only blackness around the vehicle. The cat dissolved into this void. Within an instant, she heard a meow come from the outside. The cat was sitting before the driver's side window. Bewildered, how had the cat gotten there? It meowed again. Urgent. It seemed to beckon her. She tried in vain to start the stalled-out car once more. She looked out the window again. The cat, it was seeming to eye Lydia as if through a lens of suspicion. When she yelled, demanding that the cat either address her or get away from the car, it moved from its still glance. The cat sat there a moment longer, before slinking back off into the night, disappearing in the surrounding darkness. She could hear an electric sputter, startling her, as then Linda was faced with the fact that her car was finally responding to the ignition. Instantly after this, the yellow beams cast the shadows away before them and shone down the street. She couldn't help the feeling of seeing many eyes right on the boundary of those. Hastily, Linda hit the gas. Still shooken up by these events, and how they gave her such unease, it made her uncomfortable to even go out at night. She lived right down the street, and every night, going past that dark spot in the road, it remained in her mind. What exactly had she encountered that night? Thank you for watching. It